All right. So while you're taxiing, I'll just give a little bit of a brief. Please let me know if I cut out at any point.
All right, sounds good.
All right. So after takeoff, we'll fly runway heading for about 10-ish miles, and then make a right turn, maintaining about 350 knots, probably a 5-degree nose high climb, up to about 15,000. We're gonna fly roughly a heading of 280 until we get down south by Batumi. Once we get to Batumi, we'll head basically 180, maybe 170, and kind of set ourselves up on the west end of the BVR range. After that, we'll do a little orbit. I'm gonna have you guys go up front for the actual ingress, so you guys can mess around with your radars. We'll start off spawning a 2-contact azimuth formation. It's just 2 single contacts flying line abreast, basically. And I'll help you guys make sure you guys have your radar set up and are good to engage, and then what to do after engaging.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Normally, one thing to kind of keep a note of if you're going to be flying against like aircraft, so like if we're doing 16 versus 16 and you're flying with modern Fox 3s, one thing to keep in mind in engagement is your minimum abort range, or your MAR. At high altitude, try to avoid getting within 16 miles of a target. If the engagement goes right, once you fire, that's when you want to maintain your offense, but also start working your defense. Because if they fire off a missile around the same time you are, by the time your missile goes pitbull, theirs is too. So you want to be able to ditch your missile and go and defend yourself. So at high altitude, it's about 16 nautical miles. Medium altitude is about 14, and then low altitude, try to stay out of 12. Once you get within that visual range fight, it's a very hard thing to get out of alive. All right. Are you guys ready for takeoff?
Ready? Oh, ready.
All right. Lead is taxi.
Sanaki traffic, shadow flight of 3 Vipers taking runway 9 for departure.
All right, we're gonna do an in-sequence departure, 10-second interval. One's
2 rolling.
Three's rolling.
One is bringing it back down to 350 and maintaining 5 degrees.
Man, that closer speed is so hard for me to gauge there.
Oh, yep, I got vision. All right, 10 miles out. I'm gonna make my right turn to 208. Be about a 20-degree bank. Actually gonna set it up for a 210 head. All right, about to roll out, heading 210. Beginning rollout. All right, gonna climb up to 18,000 feet, and then we'll level off. If you need to, feel free to get a radar lock so you can get your closure speeds.
Okay. Okay now.
All right, leveling off 18,000.
I'm still a little fast.
It's all right if you want to maintain 350. I'll kind of creep up a little bit on the throttle, and then let you guys form up behind me. Very nice. All right, so we are approaching. I punched in a coordinate for a steer point 2. We're about 19 miles from that. After that, we'll make a turn to roughly 180-170 and begin our egress. So over the last few updates, the Viper's radar has gotten much more powerful than it used to be. If it's configured right, you can easily get radar contacts up to 60 miles away, and solid locks at roughly 60 miles or within 60 miles, where you can launch a missile. So what we'll do on the ingress, after we make the turn to fly straight towards the BVR box, we'll climb up to 30,000 feet and try to get as much speed as possible. For your radar setups, what I'd recommend, go into your air-to-air master mode. Set your FCR page for a range of 80 nautical miles. Decrease the azimuth from A6 to A1. That's right below range. And then your bar search, which is below the azimuth, set that to 1 Bravo.
Azimuth is A1, you said?
Yep.
Okay. Roger.
All right. Here in a second, we'll begin our left-hand turn towards the initial. All right, beginning left-hand turn. Probably do a 10 degree bank. All right, so what that does, you've manipulated your radar to only scan 10 degrees in front of you. So now you have the entire range that you can pick out, but it's focusing all that radar energy into that 10 degree cone. So that's how you'll be able to pick up targets at a greater distance. The 1 bar, it's of the elevation settings you can have, 1, 2, or 4. It's only scanning a quarter of the range that you can scan. So like I said, it's focusing that radar energy into a more prominent cone, and you can pick up targets a lot better at further distances.
Yep, makes sense.
So if I remembered correctly, once we spawn in these targets, they will spawn in at about like 65 miles from the egress, or from the ingress point. So once we do that, I'll have you guys, or as we approach the ingress, we'll fan you guys out into a line abreast about, say, 5 miles apart. Far enough to segregate your targets. All right, rolling out on 170. Alright, so we'll go ahead and fence in. So master arms on, light exterior lighting off, lead fuel state 12.1.
11.7.
9.8.
Is tail clear for...
Yep.
Copy, punching center. Alrighty, 6 miles to the initial turn. So here in a little bit, we'll go ahead and turn. Set your HSDs to 120 mile range. All right, leads beginning left-hand turn, 20-degree bank. All right, once we roll out, I want you guys to spread out into a spread formation, and I want you two to begin burning and climbing up to higher than 30,000 feet. At altitude, try to build speeds first, and then do like a 10-degree nose-high climb.
Roger.
Oh, it's gonna be into the sun too. That's fucking great. All right, lead is starting to roll out. Rough heading 070. Correction, 080.
I'll break off to the right.
Yep, KW break off left, Wolf break off right. And on my count, begin your burn and climb. All right. Viper flight engage. All right. 2 group azimuth. Viper flight pop-up group at 2 contact azimuth 17, 25,000 hot. So now what you're gonna do, you see the numbers beside the bracket, beside your RDR card?
Yep.
You wanna make sure the contacts, their altitude of 25,000 is between the upper and lower range of your scan arc. Using your antenna elevation knob or whatever binding you have for it, that's how you're going to correct it. KW, prosecute left contact, Wolf right contact.
Is it TMS up, lock, or?
Yep, TMS up to lock. So
Locked.
one thing to remember is that with the, depending on what mode you use, in RWS, you can use RWS like TWS, but you got to go up once short to enter your situational awareness mode, which will give you the targeting information, but not alert the bandit that you are locking them. After you guys fire your missile, go ahead and start cranking to your respective directions. KW left, Wolf right. I want you, after the missile is in the air, to basically put it to the far limits of the radar of the FCR page, keeping the target within the brackets, and begin a shallow descent.
Roger.
Fox 3.
And then while you're cranking, you can pull out a burner to conserve fuel.
Does it tell me when the missile goes pitbull?
So if you're watching the radar contact, after you fired your missile, a rectangle block should have appeared to extend the return. And then as that missile got within 10 nautical miles, it should have started, that rectangle would start flashing to let you know the missile's active.
Okay.
All right, go ahead and perform a 180-degree turn, and we'll reset for the next one. And then this time we'll try to keep altitudes above 30,000. All right, fuel safe.
8.8.
7.5.
All right, so go ahead and we'll proceed 270 to exit the BVR range and reset, and we'll reset together, or we'll rejoin after we exit the range.
How do you spawn an enemy? Is it like an F10 function?
Yep, so for the way that's set up here, it's an F10. You can spawn in single contacts, a 2-contact azimuth, a 3-contact, and then 3 contacts in various types of formations. And we'll kind of cover each of the formations. So depending on what type of play style you end up finding yourself in later on in your exploration into the DCS community, you'll find that there's a lot of casual flyers. They'll just give you bras to the targets. Sometimes it might give you a bullseye call, which it can be pretty advanced because you gotta understand, or you gotta make sure your systems for what is showing as bullseye in your jet matches what whoever the GCI is, or the controller is giving the bullseye reference to. Bullseye and bra call are very similar. The only difference is bullseye is your position or the bandit's position in relation to the common reference point, whereas the BRA is your bearing, range, altitude, and aspect call from your specific aircraft.
Does the bullseye display in the HSD?
So if you're not on initial start, you have to actually turn it on yourself. So to do that, you hit list 0. That'll give you bring you to the miscellaneous page on your DED. There you'll see under option 8 is bull. So you hit bull, and in order to highlight bullseye at the top, you just press 0. You don't have to worry about changing the bullseye. So a lot of times if you don't change the bullseye waypoint, then it'll revert to the automatically set bullseye in Mission Editor. But then if say they want your bullseye to be based off of a specific steer point, then you just between steer points 1 and 25, you just pick whatever steer point that is that they want and reset your bullseye to that. So right now, KW, I think yours is going to be somewhat similar since you're kind of trailing me. But once you do that, once you turn on your bullseye, in the bottom left corner of your HUD, you'll see a degree. So right now mine is showing 149. Next is 062. So my bullseye location in relation to bullseye is now 150 for 61 miles.
Yep, I see it.
That's on the left-hand side of the HSD, correct?
Yep, and that'll pop up in the bottom left corner as well. It'll pop up in the bottom left corner of both MFDs.
Yeah.
And then as you move your radar cursor around, if you look on the FCR page above the M4, just above the bullseye icon, it gives you a bullseye location for where your cursor is. So like right now I have mine set out in front of me, and the bullseye, if I were to highlight a contact where it's at right now, would be giving me a bullseye location of 182 for 56 miles. Alright, we are outside the range, so let's begin our... So KW, you and I are going to do a left-hand 180 and meet up with Wolf in the center. Alright, so up next we'll do a 3-contact formation called a wall. It's same thing as an azimuth formation, but it's made up of more than 2 contacts in a line abreast formation. Then do me a flavor as well. Go to list and 2 and reset your bingo fuel setting to 4,000. All right, Dodger flow, push right. Push right abreast, and Wolf push left.
Roger.
All right, spawning targets. 3, 2, 1, spawn. All right, one has 3 data link contacts. Off our nose, roughly 60 miles, 25,000. To target, left contact, 3 right contact, lead has mid.
Hey, disappeared off my radar.
And then for BVR engagements, a lot of times you can max range a shot and still contact. If anything, it allows you to press closer, so that way you can be the one on the offense approaching a MAR and keeps them on their heel.
I didn't notice the first time. Is there a shoot queue?
No, so on your radar page, because since we're flying into the sun, you can barely see the HUD. On the radar page, you see the launch zone bracket on the right side.
Yep, that's what I
Once
was
you're,
using.
yep, once that's within the bracket, you can fire. Obviously, the lower it is in the bracket, the higher the probability of.
What's the little
stuff happening at the top of the shoot queue? There's like 4 marks.
On the the little carrot that's moved.
No, like on the actual scale of the shoot queue bar, like down at the bottom.
Box
there's
3
like
at
a
the target.
box.
So that's like your no escape range.
3. I see. Okay.
Yep, lead Fox 3, middle con. Yep, and then if we were doing PvP stuff, once you see that box start flashing on the back of the contact, that's when you'd want to try to turn cold, because you have in order to survive BVR engagements, always assume that they fired on you.
Right.
Lead contact. All right, good effects. Let's read. All right, flow 26. And then we'll rejoin after we egress the ring.
No. What you guys doing?
Doing some BVR training.
Okay.
What you looking to?
I'm just doing street runs too.
So, if I had the elevation set, like the bounds were, you know, the altitude that they were in was in the range of my bounds on my radar, is there a reason that they would drop off my radar like that? For, you know,
So a lot of times, sometimes,
25 seconds or something?
if you lock an initial contact, they might not have enough track data to be able to maintain that lock. So might drop lock like that for some reason.
Okay.
Another reason would be if you accidentally did go into a hard single target track lock, they
Right.
turn on their jammer and it'll make it drop.
Okay.
And even environmental factors like cloud, believe it or not, surprisingly, clouds can affect
Well, they
radar
have
locks.
moisture in them and all that stuff. So.
Yep. So thick cloud layers can also affect that.
Yeah.
Just very many different variables.
Okay.
So hard lock, is that 2 presses or is that a long press?
So it can be achieved with a long press. It can also be achieved with TMS up twice. The great thing about situational awareness mode in range while scan is that it acts like TWS, so it doesn't give them the lock notification. It also won't give them a missile launch notification until the missile goes pitbull, just like in TWS. But then you can also go into dual target track mode, where you can track 2 targets simultaneously without and it acting like TWS. All right, Wolf, go ahead and make left 180 and turn back. And then I'm going to try to set you 2 up on a chainsaw style tactic or a grind tactic.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
Hi, I just saw on the F-16 cycle student that says we have some PV/BVR practices.
Yep, currently working somewhere.
All right, can I join?
Feel free. We've been flying for a minute, so like our fuel state won't be too high, and then also missiles will be a little.
Okay.
All right, KW, you're about to be passing through, or Wolf is about to pass down your right side at about 5 to 10 miles. Go ahead and make a left 180, like 30-degree turn. Left one. And then you can go ahead and just whip it around.
Back just a bit.
All right, so right now we're in what's called a champagne formation, I believe.
Oh.
So what I'm gonna want you guys to do after you launch your missiles, Wolf, I want you to crank right, and Dodger or KW just keep coming up, kind of cheating north to try to slot in behind Wolf. All right, pop-up group 3 contacts. Lead contact, Wolf, bearing 094 for 64, 25,000. North contact, 089 for 69, 25,000. South trail contact, 097, 69. Alright, so Wolf, I want you to ensure, so fire first on the lead trail, on the lead contact, and as you're cranking out, KW, target one of the other 2 contacts and on one of the trail contacts, call out which one you're going to be targeting, and follow, and then crank right as well, kind of go into like this trail formation.
Oh, cool. The data link shows which one you're locking.
Yeah, I just noticed that. So.
That's wild.
Bingo! Bingo!
Alright, KW, pull back the speed a little bit, try not to get in front of him.
What's good, guys? I think they're practicing PvE, PvR in the Viper.
Yeah, I joined them, but don't really.
Alright, KW, fire.
Fox 3, right rear. Braking right.
Be advised, Wolf is cranking below you. Try to avoid a steep dive. Wolf, good.
Pulling 180.
Shadow Fox 3 North Trail. KW, good splash. Go ahead 180 or 180 to the and follow.
Three is bingo fuel.
One cop. Two.
5.0.
Copy all. We'll go ahead and RT. All right, let's go ahead, descend down to 20,000. And then we'll go ahead, fence out, go back, exit air-to-air master mode, and master arm on. Two, go ahead, bring power back and maintain 350 in the box.
So I didn't punch off my wing tanks, but how would I do that?
So if you're loaded up with just air-to-air, you can do one of two ways. You can do emergency storage jettison, or once you're in air-to-air master mode, go ahead and go to your SMS page, and then once you're on your SMS page, you'll see in the bottom right corner you'll see S-J. That is your selective jettison page. You can click on that, and as long as your master arm is on, you highlight the tanks by pushing the buttons on the left and right side that correlate with the location, and then just hit your pickle.
Caution. Caution.
Okay, so if I go into air-to-air mode and I hit emergency jettison, it only drops the tanks.
Yep. So you cannot jettison your air-to-air weapons, and
Good to know.
the only way you can do it is to fire them.
Is that because they're on rails?
Pretty
Or
much,
is it
yeah.
something else?
If you had air-to-ground weapons on stations 3 and 7, then if you hit emergency jettison, you'll jettison your air-to-ground weapons.
Okay.
All right, 2, go ahead, make a right turn.
Under 20-degree banking turn to the right.
Right turn heading 3-3.
Repeat.
Yep, just make a right turn to heading 335.
Thank you.
Koki, 1-4. Abort takeoff.
And beginning to roll. Oh, no. Never mind. Beginning to roll.
Two speed.
347.
Copy. 1's pulling up on your left.
Roger.
All right, 1's moving over. All right.
Go ahead and repeat that and get out.
One's got lead. Got to maintain 3.
Roger.
All right. Go ahead. Reset your bingo limits to 2,000. All right, gonna bring her slightly right and fly true. Beginning right hand, 10 degrees. All right, about to roll out 0, 0. All right, we'll go ahead and start descending in a 5-degree nose down descend. Gonna try to maintain 350 throughout the entire process. Pulling back power, descending now.
What kind of mission y'all doing right now?
David's.
We're doing some BVR.
Go for it.
Actually gonna bring the nose down further to 10 degrees. Throttle it. Gonna try to maintain 360. then we're going to level off at 6,000. Alright, beginning a nice, easy level off for 6. And then gonna decrease speed to 350. Alright, leveling off. Alright, so pattern altitude at Sanaki is going to be 1,600 feet, so we'll go ahead and once we turn towards the base, we'll go ahead and descend down to 2,000. Oop, got a little fast, sorry.
Bingo.
Alright, one is off autopilot. Gonna make a gradual 20-degree right-hand turn towards heading 088 to align with front. Rolling. And then we'll also descend a little bit to 3,000.
Altitude.
Alright, we'll go left echelon and get ready for a right hand overhead. And then I'm going to continue right a little to real. Alright, lead is rolling out 110. Correction, 10. Descending down to pattern. Going to maintain 3. All right, leveling off at 1600 feet. All right, bring it left to runway heading. Nice, easy 10 degree. Rolling out 08. One.
Two braking.
It's braking.
One base for final.
Sonaka traffic shadow 1, short final.
String on base for fun.
One. Man, the end of this runway comes up.
3's clearing the runway.
What was your final fuel state when she...
3 is 1.5.
3.6.
That's about what they usually...